But I'm here just in time to bring you another funky, electrifying Cat Calls. My name is Cat Vine, and I am your host with the most, or perhaps the least. It remains to be seen. You have to let me know in the chat what percentage I'm giving. Anyway, it doesn't matter what I'm giving. What it matters is that you give it up right now for today's guest. Everyone, make a big round of applause for our boy, Durante. I am an insane person, and I am so excited to have Durante on the show. I have known today's guest for something a little more than 10 years, and I met Durante when he was about 18 years old. He was a freshman at the University of Florida, and he was DJing and producing under the name Brother Wolf. Shout out. He was a regular at Neon Liger. Shout out VJ in the chat. Shout out the fam. Shout out John Marco in the chat. We still out here. Our knees are alive. Anyway, Durante, back in those days, he would send me tracks that he was making, and he would ask me my opinion. And I was always just like so impressed with his very, very clear talent. He always knew how to make a song sound good. Crisp production, solid grooves, a real perspective even then. And a couple years later, he packed up his life, dropped out of school, and moved to LA, sight unseen. Had never even visited the West Coast before. And wouldn't you know it, his crazy bet paid off, and he just 2 Fridays ago, I'm pointing at a calendar that you can't see. 2 Fridays ago, he dropped his debut album, Enter, on Anjuna Deep, of all places. A really good fucking label. And a place that I'm really excited to learn more about his being a part of that family, because it seems like a really great family to be a part of. Enter is so good. It's 13 tracks of absolutely stunning moods. It's got beats for the club, but it plays smooth enough for a middle of the workday boost or a making dinner with your partner kind of jam. We're gonna get things going with a heater from the LP. Heater is not a pun that I meant to make, but this song is called Hot Night, and it features frequent Durante collaborator Hannah. The clip I pulled is from their recent back-to-back at Anjuna Deep Open Air in LA a couple months ago. It's a live clip, so you'll hear the crowd, but Hannah sings on it live too at one point and just really shows off her chops, so I thought it would be a cool thing to include. It is cool, you're cool, Durante's cool, and when we come back, we're gonna have Cool Kid Kevin on the line, so make sure you got your questions ready. This is your show as much as it is my show, and I want you to be a part of it. This is Hot Night with Durante and Hannah. When we come back, the show begins. We're live.
Yeah, nice. Nice.
We did it! Zone Wolf in the chat. Good to see you. But most of all, Durante on the screen. Shout out Durante, who politely let me know that I was mispronouncing Hana's name. It is Hana. And now that we all know, we can say it correctly. Thank you.
No problem.
Tell me about that open air LA set and how it was working with Hana. You work with Hana so much, and it seems like you have such a wonderful collaborative relationship together.
Yeah, we're good friends. We play video games together with her fiance, and we he actually recommended that we get together and make music a while back, and we did, and it was just we're just completely on the same page whenever we make music, and that's really nice. And yeah, I did my first two EPs with Hana my first two EPs on and Deep. I did those with Hana.
Yeah. Wait, I love that the video games came
A
first.
lot, yeah.
What video game would you all be playing? Like online or together?
So I think in the beginning, like a few years ago, we were playing WoW Classic when that first came out. Now we
Nice.
play more like I've been playing. I play this game called Path of Exile, so she's been learning that, and we've been playing together. That's been pretty fun.
What is Path of Exile all about?
Kind of like Diablo. It's an ARPG game. You just like pick up items, put them on, get better gear. It's fun. Kill monsters.
Yeah. Like life, but with
Classic,
monsters
yeah,
you can
classic.
kill instead of monsters that just destroy your insides.
Yeah, true. But yeah, more of the music. I feel like that set especially was really magical because when we first got on stage, it was really cloudy and it felt like it was going to be cloudy all day. And then as soon as we went on stage, all the clouds cleared and it was just sun beaming in our faces. And it was just this really epic moment. And then, yeah, we just like really turned it up and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, and you guys have performed a few festivals together now, yeah? Like you've done quite a few shows together?
Yeah. Albania is always really fun. They do, Angelina Deep does this festival called Explorations every year. And it's in Albania on the beach. And it's really pretty. And so I think I've been there last 2 years and I'm going in this year. And both of those times I played a set with Hana and then I'll play another one again this year. So
So fun. Well, I have a lot of questions. What were you going to say? Let me not cut you off.
they like when you go, you get to play multiple sets, so it's fun. I'll get to play like a set with Hana, my own set, and then another set with another friend. So that'll be cool.
Oh, that's really fun. Albania. That was something someone just tried to make fun of. I've never been to Albania. What else do you do while you're in Albania? What's low key the thing to do in your experience? You've been a couple times.
I mean, mostly just hang by the beach. It's so beautiful. And my favorite part is always the sunrise. So the nice part about coming from LA is that if you don't correct for jet lag, you'll actually just be waking up and going to bed like perfect. You'll be going to bed when it's sunrise, which is really nice because you see the sunrise and then you'd be really tired and go to bed. And so I've kind of learned that I don't really have to correct my schedule when I go, which is kind of cool. I want to stay up for the sunrise. It's always pink and blue and really pretty.
Wow.
So.
Is it an all-night festival?
Yeah. Yeah. They'll like close down stages throughout the night, and then everyone the last warriors usher into the main stage, and then they'll do sunrise on the main stage, which is really pretty.
Wow, that's so lovely. I feel like the whole Anjuna family is really considered about everything that goes into everything that they do. Is that true in your experience? Not that I'm trying to get you to talk shit if it's not true. But...
Oh, it's true. I the first time I went, I tried to look at it from a viewer, like just how would you call it? Just like an enjoyer perspective. I don't
Yeah.
know. Like
Yeah.
someone
You're like,
who
if
would
I
just
wasn't paid to be here, or it wasn't my
yeah,
job to do
yeah,
this, like, what would I think?
yeah, and it was very it was all really well set up and really well run. I felt really safe the whole time, and I had a really nice time. And that was actually before I decided to release an album with them. So kind of I was like, man, I could come back here every year. It's,
That's
yeah.
awesome. Core Skate wants to go. When does it happen? When in the year?
It happens in June. So I believe the dates are June. Let me check my calendar here. It's June. It's like from June 13th to June 18th, I believe.
It's
Don't quote me if I'm wrong,
it's
but I
got to be
believe
in
those
June because it's Ann June.
in June.
I'm a turd.
Yeah,
Sorry.
actually, they're actually only allowed to do
Yeah,
concerts and festivals in June.
exactly.
So
Got to keep it on on brand. Okay, let's take this conversation back to the beginning. I don't usually ask a lot of questions about people's backstory when I've spoken to them a lot, but I just think that your backstory is really fun and really cool, and I've had a front row seat to quite a bit of it. So, but going even further back, you were born in a small Italian town just outside of Florence, right?
yeah.
What do you remember most about that place in those years?
Oh, it was really magical. I remember believing in dragons and playing knights with my brother. We had swords and like we would pick blackberries and things like that. I actually went back a couple years ago to that house that we lived in.
Right.
It was on top of a hill, and now it's completely dilapidated. But there's a bunch of fig trees on the hill that it's on, and they're the best figs I've ever had to this day. It like really sparks that memory, that
Wow.
taste of those figs. It's like they're so good.
Wow.
Yeah, and they're always in bloom in June, like that time of the year. So that's kind of when I'll go, is after explorations. I'm actually
Oh,
going back again this year too. So
that's awesome. Do you still have family that lives in that area, or are you going back to experience and kind of relive and recapture some of those memories in particular?
so I don't have family in that specific town, like just outside of Florence, but we do have some close family friends that live like they got a house like across the street from it, basically.
Mm,
Dilapidated church slash living situation. And
sounds sick.
so that's, yeah, when we'll go have lunch or dinner with them, and then I'll get to see the old place, which is amazing. And then I do have family in Florence. They all live more in the city center. And so I'll go see them as well, which is
That's
nice.
that's so cool. I too sometimes find myself going back to the home where I grew up, but it's nothing as fun and sensual as a fig bearing broken down house in Italy. It's just like a sad apartment in the
Actually,
suburbs, but there is something really magical about like being able to go back to a place, and as an artist, I'm sure it stirs up all sorts of like interesting emotions and feelings.
yeah, like I know I didn't grow up there, but only spent the first 4 years of my life there. But even going back, we I can't remember, maybe it was 3 or 4 years ago. We broke into this old building, and it was exactly how we left it when we left. And so there was like all this stuff from 20 years ago. Just like my dad had a bunch of these Italian travel magazines, and they're stacked up almost to the ceiling.
Wow.
And I took a stack of them and then just clipped out my favorite pictures and then brought them home. And actually, those pictures were scanned in and used on the music video for Hot Night. The artist took all my scans and then reprinted them out, and then did like stop motion video for them, which is really cool.
That's so cool.
Full circle.
I hope
My
you
first music video too. So
I hope you break into some more old abandoned buildings and discover some more fun treasures.
there's a huge. It's such a big stack, and I could only take like maybe 5 or 6 different magazines. So um, maybe we're due for another round.
I think so. I think we are. I feel like maybe I'm making this up, but did you tell me someone in your family introduced you to Italo disco through like a bunch of old CDs, or did you like find a bunch of old CDs, or am I maybe even confusing someone else's life story with yours just because of the Italian connection?
Not a disco, but my cousins were really into techno.
That okay, maybe this is where it
Like
is.
very hard, very deep, minimal techno. And whenever I would go as a kid, they would either give me CDs with the music on it, or when I was old enough, they would bring me to the nightclubs, and that was really cool.
And how old is old enough in Italy?
I think like 14, 15. I think the drinking age is like 14 or something in Italy.
Wow.
So
Joey Headset says he likes his techno al dente, so I hope that that's the way it was. Wait, tell me about these tracks and how.
There is a vinyl exclusive song on the record, and it's just a dub techno track. It's like 140 BPM, and it's an homage to those, like the music that they gave me, but also the clubs that I would go to.
That's so cool.
I've been closing my sets with it, which has been really fun.
That's so rad. Tell me about these clubs. What do you remember? What did they smell like? What did the people look like?
Well,
that's so crazy.
I just remember the first one was like an outdoor space.
Ooh.
You'd walk in through some underpass, and then it would just be this big outdoor space, and there was a stage and people playing music. And I was so young. This is 16, 17 years ago. So it's like the memories are very, they're not so clear anymore, but
Yeah.
the music definitely had an impact on my life.
That's so
Really cool.
crazy. So when you were like 4 or so, you moved to Florida? Fort Myers.
Florida, yeah.
Oh my God. Does your family still live in Fort Myers? They didn't live on did they live on the beach? Is everyone okay?
Yeah. Yeah, I remember we'd like get out of class and drive to the beach. It was really fun.
Yeah.
Live in it was really easy to live a beach life kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I really like music that sounds like you're at the beach too. It's kind of like this blend of different worlds, but
Yeah, hard techno beach. I like that as a vibe.
especially like those beach concerts are mostly going to be techno anyway, and like people love it. It's like it's just crazy, like the amount of people that show up for that kind of music. It's amazing, and I think it's really getting a lot of steam in the U.S. as well. I feel like all of the local scenes that I see when I go play at different clubs always be like the people in the community are always like playing techno at the afters, and that's their thing. They'll just play techno.
That's cool. Yeah, I was just going to ask, how do you get a good felt sense for the local scene wherever you go? Do you make it a point to go to afters? I mean, are you 30 yet even? Or
I'm 31, yeah.
31.
Yeah.
Okay, so you still got energy for the afters in you. Although I'm sure like finishing a DJ set is such a fucking rush.
Usually
Like
if I don't have a flight the next morning, then I will try. Or if I just like don't, just depends. It always depends. I can never say like I'll always try to go, or I won't, but
I don't want
vibe
to
is
set you
I'll
up for that either, you know?
You said in your interview at 34 minutes in that you said you would come, so
So let's go. No, that's cool.
Usually I'll have it just depends. Sometimes I'll be really tired, sometimes I'll be down to go, but I'm engaged too, so I have a family and like, well, not, yeah.
So,
getting the
yeah, something you'd like to announce? No, I'm just kidding.
um, but that's kind of where my headspace is at. I'm
Yeah.
like, I want to start a family at some point. So kind of thinking about how that becomes a reality with a job as a DJ too.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's things to think about, and like, maybe I won't be going to the afters so often.
Yeah, right. You might just have a flight in the morning, as it turns out.
I've had my fair share of times at the afters as well. So
Yeah. What towns out there have the best after scenes? Any in particular?
I
And
can't. I
why
don't
is
want
it
to say
college towns? No, I'm just kidding.
always a college. No, I played in even like I feel like they're all so great in their own way because everywhere I've played so far always has like um these fans that they're like in their own like music communities, and they know like they all really like Anjuna, and they also really like Drum Code. They like these like really big labels, so they'll like come out to the show and then they'll go to the afters. Like I even played in North Carolina this weekend, and they were all going out afterwards, and everyone was really well educated on the music I was playing and music, you know, like different types of music. And I was just like, in North Carolina, are you serious? It was amazing. It was really cool. It was a really lovely time. So, yeah, shout out to all the promoters that are just like holding it down and creating a scene and bringing artists in and making it work.
Yeah.
Just for the love of it. A lot of times they don't even make money off the shows. They just do it because they love the music. So
Yeah.
I think that's really nice.
Shout out. If I had the money to burn on bringing the DJs and producers I really love the most, I would fucking do it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a wild life, but
Yeah. Well, this kind of brings me to when we met in Gainesville. Shout out the promoters in Gainesville and the scene that we built.
Absolutely.
I bet a lot of DJs felt crazy about what was going on in Gainesville when they showed up. What were you actually studying?
So I originally went to school to study computer engineering, and then I dropped out after like 8 months or something.
Wow, is it really that
I
fast?
did like 2 semesters. It was after it was like halfway through the second semester or something like that.
Wow.
Because there was enough time to switch my path, and I was still doing what are they called, like the preliminary ones.
Yeah.
So I asked around to see what people thought was the easiest major. Like, what do you think is the easiest major? The one that would take the least amount of time.
What an awesome question.
Computer engineering takes a lot of time, and if I want to be an engineer, I have to devote my life to it. And I wanted to devote my life to making music, so I asked around to see what the easiest major would be, and a lot of people said advertising. So I switched to advertising as my major, and spent all of my free time making music.
Man, shout out the advertisers out there. Like, your job sucks. Anyone could do it. No, I'm just... How did you find Neon Liger? Who told you about Liger? Were you just going to like every club you could?
Well, so I remember I was in a fraternity, and I think there was like, we did a function at Spank the club.
Yeah. With two N's, by the way, for everyone out there who doesn't know.
Awesome spot. And VJ was DJing, and I was like, this DJ is sick.
I know, right?
And so I tried to talk to him after, and he was just like smoking a cig or something, didn't want to talk to me. I was just like some runt. And I got a job at some local blog, like posting music, and I posted like a lot of cool music I would find, and then one of the posts I posted one of my own songs because I also thought that was pretty cool.
As you should. Hey, get your foot in the door, okay?
There was it was maybe like, it wasn't the only reason, but I was just looking for more jobs in music.
Yeah.
So Sean, I believe, found it. Sean was also one of the residents at Neon Liger, and he told VJ about it, about the music and me, and then yeah, it was. They asked me if I wanted to open, and I kind of like, I just made it work.
Had
They
you
taught me
ever
how
really
to
DJ'd before, or was that something that was
I
like,
was, yeah, I was. I'm trying to think of how it actually worked out. So I had this little thing called a trigger finger. Do you know what that is?
I don't, but it sounds really interesting. Is that
Four
what
by
Grimes was
four
using at Coachella?
pad.
Just kidding.
Okay. And it was like this pad, this like MIDI pad, and I really liked it because Skrillex used it.
Oh, shout out. Yeah.
It was sick. I want to use that, so I used it, and I used it for like one show, and it went fine. It went okay. I was using Tractor,
And
and
like
I
what
just
kind of show? Like a
um,
frat, like at your frat house or like somewhere in town?
it was at Spank actually.
Oh, okay.
Like, I think we had another function, and they asked VJ if I could DJ, and so I did it.
And he still wasn't paying attention to you until Sean sent him your track.
I don't remember the exact timeline. I'm gonna be honest. I don't
That's
remember
fair.
the exact timeline.
I'm just
But
saying it that way to throw V under the bus for fun.
no, but I remember at that time he was friends with Blaze, who was also in my same fraternity, and
Oh, okay.
he was. I remember him like talking to Blaze, and them just kind of like pointing at me like out of the corner of my eye, and they're like, look at this guy," you know. And
Look at
so
this kid. Look at him
I
go.
was like, okay, well, you know, I remember very vividly there were like 3 or 4 people on the dance floor, and 2 of them were making out, and I was like, yeah, I did my job as a DJ. Like I killed it.
It's very true. If you can get, even if it's only 4 people, if you can get 2 of those people to make out, that's the goal.
I was very proud. I was very excited about that. Yeah. So, yeah.
I do
And
have to say, I right away just felt like you were so supremely talented. Like every track that you used to send me back in the day, I was just like,
I actually forgot that I would send you music.
yeah. And you'd be like, what do you think of this? And every single time I was just like, this fucking kid. Like, I don't know, it just sounds good. You know, it's like, it was good. So I can believe that Blaze and V and Sean were all sitting on the side going, whoa, check out this jit. What's going on?
Yeah, I was. Oh my god, I was always so much younger than everyone.
Well, and you have like a young face. You know, even now you have a young face. Like you're just blessed with a youthful face. I don't know if you know, if it's just
I get
in
it
your
all the time.
genes. It's all those figs from back, those magical figs.
No, drinking the fountain of youth over here.
But that's fucking awesome. So you managed to survive your first DJ set at
I
Liger.
survived. Yes. Yeah, and then that was just a random party, and then they invited me to DJ open up, and VJ helped me set up all of my key commands on my computer. He had these little stickers that were all different. They meant different things and different cue points on your song. So I learned his DJ setup,
That's sick.
and I did that for maybe like 6 months to a year until I found out I could just use the CDJs. And after I learned how to use the CDJs, I was like, "What? This is so easy! Like, this is so much." It would look so daunting. I didn't want to use the CDJs. I just want to use the laptop because I
Yeah.
knew the laptop would work. But then I started using CDJs at some random after party, and I was like, "This is it. I'm never going back again." So,
That might be why you're so in love with after parties. You're like, great knowledge drops at afters.
well, it gives you some time to mess around and kind of. Yeah, I think it was just like maybe a bunch of people in a room, like someone's bedroom. I think it was actually Blaze's house, and he had extra CDJs or something.
So Blaze is an important key to your story. Because
Yes, that's true.
Blaze, who is Blaze to the folks in the chat who don't know who Blaze is? And he went out to California first.
He went out to California first. He was hired as Owsla's GM. And he was in LA for a while as their GM. And I asked to intern for Owsla for a while.
And how
or
old
like
were
I
you
had
at that
asked
point?
intern. I like, pretty much begged him to intern for Ausla because I really liked the label, and he agreed. And then it was like once a week or something, 2 times a week, we would go out to Tim's house, and Tim is Sonny's manager. And so we would go out to his house and work on the label. And then I kind of restructured all of their file organization system.
That
And I kind of
engineering
became like,
partial degree coming in hot.
yeah, I became the file guy. So anytime anyone needed anything, they would hit me up and I would respond to them in like 2 to 3 minutes. I was checking my phone all the time and I was so on top of it. And then school started back up again and I was not so on top of it anymore. It was like, it would take like, 30 minutes to an hour to get people their files. And they were like, you're coming out to LA. We're hiring you. So
That's
kind of
how it happened.
Yeah.
You made yourself indispensable. You were the key to the files. Like, I can only imagine the files are the real treasure trove. Yeah.
If it's not file system, do something. Do something. Make yourself needed.
You have to make yourself irreplaceable. I got the keys to the files. You weren't invested in being an advertiser anyway. Come on. Although, did you learn anything useful during your easiest of all degrees that maybe has come in handy now that you're an artist and an entrepreneur?
Yeah, you take like marketing classes and like advertising. You learn about 6 different emotional chords you can strike. Usually advertisements will strike one of those 6. I can't tell you what those 6 are or if 6 is the right number, but
See,
I know they exist.
This is why advertising to me is like the dirtiest of all the, perhaps artistic expressions, because it's literally just like, okay, how can we tap into someone's emotional response to sell them something? Like, fuck you. Not like, how do I tap into their feeling to make them feel it because it's beautiful?
Well, also what you learn is that advertising is more about like brand lineage and brand loyalty than actually selling a product.
Interesting.
It's more like marketing is more trying to sell it, but the advertisements usually what they found out from all of the studies they've done is that like say you see an Apple ad for a phone and you have the phone, you're like, oh yeah, it makes you feel good about yourself. It like triggers that response. So it's kind of more supposed to do that, I think, than actually selling the product.
I see. It's like validating via some entertaining or emotional element that you shop that. It's like if you see a cool car commercial and it's your car, it's like, well, thank God I have that cool car. It's like, I once saw a Volvo commercial with a Justice song in it, and I was like, do I need to own a Volvo?
I like tuned in to the beginning of the stream, and I was like, she's looking at Justice videos, and she... Sure enough, I knew it.
If only I got paid every time I said their name, it would be really nice, like, sponsored by.
How was it? Did you have a good time?
Yeah, it was a wonderful, overwhelming experience, to be honest. I was like front center, and the lights are a lot.
Song they played of yours? Yeah, like your favorite moment.
Well, my favorite moment sounds like a brag, but they were playing songs from the new album, and I have a listening link to it, so I've been listening to it a lot. And it's very good. And there's the first track is called Never Ender, and it's got Kevin Parker, Tame Impala on it.
Is that the one that's already out?
No.
There's Kevin Parker.
There's another one. And I was like listening to it over and over again, and I had this moment where I was like, oh my God, Never Ender goes with Safe and Sound, and they're gonna mix it that way. And then they fucking did, and I was like, that's it, I win.
You turned to everyone around you in the crowd. I knew this was gonna happen. I called it.
I did. I screamed. You know, I posted a video to Instagram, and you can hear me go, "I fucking called it!" And like literally everyone else around me is like, "Okay."
Cool.
Weirdo. But so anyway, yeah, that was personally my favorite part, just because I got to feel right. I got to feel validated, and therefore it was the perfect bit of advertising. No, it was. Anyway, we're not here to talk about that.
Seemed like a really good time.
Yeah.
All the stuff at Coachella were like, from what I saw, looked like everyone had a really nice time.
Yeah, it was really fun, and the weather was actually really nice. It wasn't as hot as it has been in the past, and you know, that was good because I was camping, and camping is rough.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow, respect.
I had to do what I had to do.
Awesome.
Those hotel rooms are pricey.
Yeah.
And no one searched my car on the way in, not to like, you know, tattletale on the security guards, but I think they just saw my face and they were like, this one's fine. Like,
That's usually what happens to me when I go through security. They're like, this guy's like 12, like let him through.
Exactly, you know, and they're not wrong, you know, like I'm not up to anything these days. But oh well. So how long into college did you actually make it before Ausla literally picked you up and took you to LA?
3.5 years.
Oh, you almost did it.
Maybe 2.5 years. It was 2.5 years.
Yeah.
So I went through my junior year, and everyone was like, dude, you only have a year left. What are you doing? Get your degree. And I was like, no. Chasing my dreams. I'm going to Los Angeles with my 2 bags and nothing else. I'm going to use the rest of the money in my bank account on a holy ship ticket.
Yes! What? Wait, which holy ship was that?
Must have been 2013 or 2014.
Yeah. That's sick. Was your new boss on the boat or no?
What's that?
Was your new boss on the boat?
He was on the boat. And he actually like as he was checking in, he like said what's up. He like gave me a wave, and that was the first time I met him, and I played it so cool. I was like, "What's up, man? How's it going?" It was good.
Was he like, thanks for the files. We love having you out here.
It was cool. It was like, well, that's the thing. It's like VJ would always bring in so many amazing, talented artists through Gainesville. And over the time of just working with him and opening for a lot of these artists, you get familiar with like realizing that these people that you idolize or that you love are just humans too, you know. They just be treated like a normal person as well. So yeah, it was fun. Holy Ship was really fun. I met Johnny the Boy for the first time.
Oh, Johnny the Boy! Shout out into living legend.
I see him every time I go to Texas now. He's a good dude.
Also Italian, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, was he born in Italy? Or he's just like the most Italian American indie sleaze hipster of all time?
Yeah, like that's the thing is like there's a lot of Italians that came over at the beginning of the 1900s, kind of, and I think that's kind of the Italian culture in America, and it's quite different from Italy still. Like there's a lot of similarities.
I see.
But it's still a little bit different too. So I think he's like family Italian, like American Italian.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that in a bad way. It's just different.
Yeah, like family. Like I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
Like Vin Diesel in The Fast and the Furious, like family.
Family. Yeah.
How would you describe Johnny to the chat if you had to? There's one quick blurb.
Well, I will say that he has grown up a lot.
Yeah, he's Johnny the Man now.
He's Johnny the Man.
He's Johnny the Man.
He's a good guy. I like him a lot. He was always known to be this extremely explosive character, and would just light up a room anytime. Like everyone, oh, Johnny's here. Oh shit.
Yeah. We're about to get down. It's about to be a real night.
But he still does it now too, but it's in a very nice. It's like a much more adult way.
I
Which is
agree.
nice.
I think Cat Calls Johnny the Boy should happen one day. Well, we got to see what's happening.
That would be fun.
Yeah.
Interesting. I think it'd be good.
I think we should do it. And Tristan Combe is just saying, we love Durante. What's your favorite color?
I was in New York last week. That was epic.
Nice. What were you doing in New York last week? Tell us about it.
I played Elsewhere.
How was that?
It was super fun, amazing time. It was the same time as like Ross from Friends was on the same bill, so he was playing the main room, and I was playing the smaller room, and it was really fun. People were bouncing back and forth, and it was just like really fun time.
That's so awesome. Did you hit any cool New York City after parties?
Nope, I had a flight the next morning.
Oh, there you go. That's safe.
Until 3, so it was just straight to bed.
New York is more dangerous than North Carolina for an after situation, I can imagine.
It's true. It's true. Or who knows? You know?
You know what? I can't speak to it.
I wouldn't underestimate those North Carolinians.
I shouldn't. Actually, I met a bunch of North Carolinians from Liger, and they were all go hard motherfuckers. So you are correct.
It was a fun weekend. It was just like such good vibes all around. I had a really nice time.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you're in LA. You're working at Ausla. What did you learn during your time there? And what did you learn from taking that risk? I mean, obviously, looking back, I hope that you're very happy that you just said, fuck it, took that risk, moved to LA with 2 bags. Yeah.
So the biggest thing I learned was that that was only, so biggest thing I learned is that I didn't want to be in the music industry. I wanted to be an artist. And I kind of always knew this. Yeah. And that was kind of a way to get my foot in the door. But it really became evident once I moved out here and just started working full time in the music industry. I felt like I had my hands on the window pane, and I was just like, let me in. Let me in. And I also learned that if I wanted to do music, I had to also dive in fully.
So, no halfsies.
No halfsies. So I quit my job shortly. I think I was only with them for like a year in LA. So I'd been with them like maybe 2.5 years total. But like a year was as an intern, and then like a year and a half with the label, and then I quit and then did music full time.
Wow.
Yeah. And that was another leap of faith. And so, yeah.
How did you manage in the beginning? Was it just like...
Oh, it was tough. It was really tough. I didn't really have a lot of money saved up either. It was just...
you spent it all on holy ship tickets. I mean, my God.
No. I'm a live in the moment kind of guy.
Yeah, no, I love that about you. But when
I just made it work. I was like doing odd jobs. I'd help out people with graphic design stuff, or like mixing jobs, or like different things. I'd get shows here and there. Before I quit, I had a couple songs that did really well on YouTube. So I got to play some shows.
That's really
overseas.
Cool.
There was the one year that I quit, I played more shows in Europe than I played in the US.
Wow. And were people just reaching out to you because of those, did you post them to YouTube? Were they released through
It's on a channel called The Sound You Need.
Ah, yes.
There's this guy, Olivier, who, shout out Olivier, kind of jump-started my career in a way. And that was amazing. They did multiple shows and festivals. and they
Wow.
flew me out and brought me out to play them, open for these big artists. I opened for Rufus Du Sol with
Wow.
way before.
That's a
It was
good sound mix, I feel.
it was like way before. I think this was like 2017 or 2016 or something, and um, yeah, they were playing live, and I opened for them in Lyon, and I opened for them in Paris, and that was like it was
Wow.
so epic.
Wow.
It was so fun.
John Marco
And
says, shout out Slow Burn, by the way. Throwing out
yeah,
some
that's
classic
the song. Yeah, that's
tracks.
the song that put me on the map.
Yeah.
100%. Shout out Slowburn.
It was a
And
banger. When do you feel like you really felt confident and settled in who you are as an artist? Like, because obviously, you, like I said, you've been supremely talented ever since I met you when you were still a 12-year-old.
yeah,
You weren't really, but you've definitely just absolutely mastered this like hypnotic build, this moody like twilight. To me, it's always like you're so good at capturing the energy of the moments between moments, if that makes sense. Like
well, I
you,
like that.
yeah, verite. Like it's like the very real little moments of life, but it's got this like grandeur to it, which I personally love because I am attracted to that sort of thing. And maybe that's why I prescribe that sort of feeling on top of it, because that's what I enjoy. But you've certainly found yourself in your process, it seems to me.
Thank you.
When did you start to feel confident, like I know who I am as an artist?
I would say so after I quit and did music on my own for a couple of years, I did some EPs.
Mm-hmm.
This label called Openers, which is Amtrak's label.
Shout out, we love Amtrak, we love openers.
Yeah, I got with my managers, and they were just like, just start releasing music. Like, you have this label, your friend has this label, and Caleb was also very supportive of this, and he was just like, just start making music and releasing it, and just go.
Yeah.
Just put out as much as you can. Who cares how it does? And so I did just that, and the music started doing pretty good. I think the first EP was like, it did okay, and then the second EP had Split Wick on it, which went crazy.
I love that song. I love that song. I love that song.
Thank you so much. And yeah, so it was just kind of like, just kept going. And then after that, I really wanted to do more club focused music. And so I released a 2-track EP on Street Tracks called It's Evaporate and Once Again. Those tracks are some of my favorite tracks to play out still. I love those songs. And even now I'm like, I want to make more music like those songs, So it's kind of like this push and pull of making music for the workday, and also making music for the nightclub. And so I'm making some songs are more suited for like during the day or on a long drive, and then other songs I just only want to play in a nightclub. So I think it's nice to have those two kind of different worlds. And also I think it's nice that they live separately. Like, I know people listening might say I blend those two vibes a lot, but I kind of, in my head, I keep it pretty separate. I'm like, this is a song for the dance floor. This is going to say a song for the dance floor. And then like the listening songs are going to be listening songs.
Yeah, I like that. I would say that your music does very well for a drive. It's got that expansive
like
going
a drive,
somewhere
like,
vibe. Like
the album. Yeah.
Yeah, let's talk about Enter. Okay, well, how did you meet up with the Anjuna Deep folks? How did that happen? Sounds like you really found a home.
Yeah, so back to the beginning of the conversation, making music with Hannah, we made music, and then we sent those songs to and Juna Deep, and they loved them. And then as soon as those two songs came out, I was like, let's write another EP. And then we wrote another EP, and those songs came out. And then once the first EP came out, that was when the pandemic happened. It's like,
fuck.
yeah, I wrote the songs at the beginning of the pandemic, and then there was no like way to play them out for a long time, and it was rough to, I don't know, I wasn't like inspired to write music at that time, because I know a lot of artists were inspired because they were able to be home all the time, but I was just about to like have a busy touring schedule. And that was going to be my year in my head.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that's what I think every New Year's Eve.
As we all do, right?
My year.
And it is. We're doing great, sweetie.
Yeah, so I wasn't as inspired, but then I kind of lived my life a little bit and then decided to write an album. I was like just about to turn 30, and I was like, I should have an album out by the time I turn 30. So this is the end of that portal.
Wow.
The decision to make the album.
I like that you said this is the end of that portal, because in the little quote included in the album press release, you talk about how portals and doorways and kind of dimensional meanderings is part of the loose concept of the album. True? Facts?
Yeah, this is true.
Are you a little scientist? Are you a sci-fi? Where is all this coming from? Is that how you experience the world?
More of a metaphysical belief situation. And it's kind of like this, I mean, I've been led to believe in my life, like with every leap of faith I've made, those have always been like entrances to these new ways of life, and like my life would switch like so quickly. I went from being, some kid at a university to just like being in the music industry in Los Angeles, and then like being in the music industry in Los Angeles to becoming a full-time DJ. And these are all very different ways of life. And so I've always felt that like every time I've entered this portal of ascending to like a higher place of existence to follow my true calling, I've always been rewarded. And so it's kind of like this calling card to everyone else that they should also enter into the portal to follow their dream, so that's kind of where I am with that.
I love that so much. I'm such a big fan of just go for it myself, and I totally believe that if you wait for things to be perfect, you'll be waiting for the rest of your life. And also, don't be afraid to make a fucking mistake while you're trying, like I'm sure you've made a couple mistakes along the way.
I fucked up so many times. It's unreal. Yeah.
And yet, still you are here standing, promoting your debut album on Juna Deep.
Yeah, here we are. I feel like there's a lot of people in my past that are like, he's not going to make it. Like, what is he doing? And like, they'll check in on me in 5 years and they'll see that I'm still doing the same thing. So, and I was making music in high school, and kids were like, what is this guy doing?
You weren't the coolest kid in your high school? Come on, no.
Well, I had a lot of friends.
Yeah.
I kind of knew everyone.
Yeah. That's a good quality to have as someone who's trying to make it as an artist too. Being able to hang with everyone.
Yeah.
I want to remind everyone in the chat to drop their questions as we get to the back end of this whole conversation. But is this you entering the space of being an album artist? Because you've also said a couple of times, this is just the beginning of something.
Yeah, that's the idea. The thing is, right now I'm in a place of reflection. I want to reflect on what I've done.
Yeah.
I'm also in a place of learning, and I want to learn and kind of just take it all in right
Yeah.
now. Um, so yeah,
What
I
are you
think
learning?
I'd be more. What?
What are you trying to learn? Anything and everything or something specific?
Yeah, everything and any. The thing is, it's like I'm always trying to improve, but I also think it takes periods of reflection to understand like the direction that you want to go. You kind of have to point yourself in the direction that you want to go and then go towards it. So I'm kind of figuring out, I'm kind of like aiming right now. I'm like aiming down the sights, and then
Yeah.
slowly but surely I'll pull the trigger.
I love that. I'm excited to see where this trigger goes. Have you
Yes.
have you always, you saying, "Oh, I should have an album by the time I'm 30." Is having an album something that you've always anticipated having as you realized that you wanted to be a musician full time?
I think it's something that came with the territory because I've been into music for so long and I've been doing it for so long that the idea of writing an album became more and more daunting
Mm.
as the years progressed. And so I think over time, as I matured in my own right, it became more of like a thing that I felt I could do and something that was like, okay, 30 is kind of, it's kind of a big year, right? I think for most people, it's kind of like you feel like you're done developing in a
Yeah.
way, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I felt mature musically enough
Mm.
to write something that I know that I would be proud of for the rest of my life. So, because I know, like, even the music I sent you, like, I can't necessarily say I'm proud of that now, looking back. Um, so, I think there was a lot of that involved prior
Yeah.
to working on the album. So now I'm really proud of it. I'm really happy with how it
That's
came out.
awesome. You should be. And how did you approach making the album differently from maybe EPs that you've done or just singles? I mean, was there a lot of thought into, hey, I'm making a full body of work and I want it to feel like a full body of work? Or was it more of a, I'm not going to put too much expectation on myself. I'm just going to create and I'm going to see what happens?
Yeah, a little bit of both. I think they could both exist. Yeah, I when I decided to do the album, I just started writing a lot. I just started trying to finish tracks like every few days. I'd try to
Mm.
finish something new, and then after this initial body of work, I had, I don't know, like 10 to 12 ideas, kind of like finished ideas. And then over the next couple of years, I would just like, as I would buy new pieces of gear, I would either re record parts or record new parts over those original tracks.
Mm.
And it was like with the process of making EPs and singles, I would just be making, so many songs, and then I would only release the good ones. And this one was more of like taking songs that were decent ideas and then taking them all the way across the finish line instead of just, deleting and moving on and keep going,
Oh.
So,
Yeah, that must have been quite the lesson in itself of like really sticking with something through.
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I mean, there's been so many iterations of it,
Oh yeah,
but
I'm sure.
but I'm really happy with the end result.
How do you know when it's done? How do you know when you're just like, this
When
is it?
how do you know when you're done with the test? It's like pencils down. Pencils down. No more.
I mean, usually
I was
because
like
you
adding
answered
stuff
them
until
all.
like last week. I think that it was due last week. I was like,
So it was due. You knew it was done because it was due.
and now it's done.
That's awesome. Congratulations. How do you
Some songs that
feel?
were definitely finished, and then other songs came along later in the process, and so they took a little more time. And like I was always unsure. I would listen to the album top to bottom, and there were some songs that would kind of like switch up the vibe of how I wanted the
Mm.
progression to go. So
Mm.
I had to figure something out, and
Yeah.
in the end, I the last piece of gear I got was this digitone, the Electron digitone. It's sitting right here on my desk,
Nice.
and it did the final bits and pieces that I needed it to. It was perfect.
That's
It's really good.
awesome. So, would you say that the gear you used on the album plays as kind of a through line for connecting the songs? Like, are those sounds part of what makes them all related, or?
Yeah, I think it's also like the way I work
Mm.
too, because I will almost always record the automation of synths live. I'll just
Mm.
like have MIDI running through the synths, and then I'll just do a recording, and then that's it. And then like, that's the recording. I'll usually kind of have an idea of where I want the swells and
Yeah.
the volleys to be, and just kind of go around there.
Love those swells and valleys.
Yeah.
I love them so much. Chorus Kate says they love the album and also want to know if you have any specific advice for folks who are DJs and producers aspiring to get to the next level. I mean, you've dropped a lot of really wonderful things about your own journey, but is there one thing in particular that you think is helpful to keep in mind when
Well,
you're?
I think no matter at what stage you are, so like obviously where you are now is kind of the most important part of like how do I get to the next stage.
Mm,
But I think no matter at what stage you are, if you want to release with a certain label, or you want to be releasing music or opening for a certain artist, I think it's extremely important to compare your music to their music, and just try your hardest to make it sound as good, or if not, try and make it sound better. But like, be very like I don't know, like what's the right word for it, like very critical of yourself, but
mm,
not in a negative way, like in a very critical thinking way, like compare your music to other people's, use EQs to kind of shape out different parts of the song, their music and your music, and see where your music is falling short, and kind of be very critical.
mm.
And I think, I mean, I still do it all the time, and I think every big artist does
Yeah.
too. So it's kind
Who?
of like those things, like just keep compare, like you keep making music all the time, make music, but then always to make sure you have a reference and go with the reference too, because yeah,
Who are some
I think
of the
it's
artists and albums that inspire you? And
so
when you were putting all
okay.
this together.
Yeah, I mean, for the album, I wanted my inspirations to be like less of current day acts, and less of like acts that I would play in my sets,
Mm-hmm.
and more of these like timeless figures in dance music, um, or just music in general. Like for the album cover, I loved that Pink Floyd album cover with the statue, the one with the half face. Forget the name of it, but I love that, and I love that it was tangible and it was real. So that was a big inspiration for the artwork.
Mm-hmm.
And then also the music, I would say like New Order, and like the Chemical Brothers, and um, what's it called? Um, oh, I'm blanking on the name right now. I'm gonna pull it up.
Sing it. Name that.
Underworld. That's right.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
yeah, like
good.
a
Yeah.
big inspiration for like this sound that I was really trying to achieve, like this kind of 90s revival rave sound while also being some sort of emotionally charged
Mm-hmm.
melodic music. So yeah, that was where my inspirations were for the album, and then from there I kind of just, yeah, I would just compare and
Those are
just go.
some great legends to be standing alongside. I saw Underworld at Portola last year, and I was just like, fucking
I think I watched
shit.
the YouTube. They had it's up on YouTube, I think.
Yeah? It
Maybe
was
not very good quality, but
amazing.
I watched it. It's so sick.
Oh, so good. Just their energy on stage.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Oh. And I was
They
very
worked on it.
jealous because now that I fucked up my knee, I'm always so impressed with people and they're like, I mean, I'm fine now, but
I
like,
mean, people like jumping on stage on the stage and stuff, like jumping up on the decks and doing crazy stuff.
I know.
Absolute legend.
What's up with your live tour? What's up with the Enter tour?
Yeah, just it's a DJ. It's a DJ tour, and it's going really great. Playing a lot of great songs, and it's really nice to be in these different communities of dance music and share my music with people. It's really nice.
Love it. Any other big shows coming up that you want to shout out?
Yeah, I'm playing Sound in Los
Oh,
Angeles.
fun.
I've never headlined Sound before, and I'm extremely excited to play Sound. It's probably my favorite nightclub in LA.
Yeah, when is that one?
That is on the 26th, I believe.
Nice.
26th or the 27th.
Coming
double check.
up.
No, it's on May 3rd.
Oh, there you go.
May
Still
3rd.
coming up. You got
Yes.
this.
Yeah, I'm really excited. Of course. Yeah, it's gonna be a heck of a show. It's gonna be a great time. And the sound there is so fun and it's so good, and yeah, just really good folks.
Because it's
nice.
LA, do you get to bring some homies on the lineup with you? Do you have...
I have a friend Prom Night opening up. If you're familiar, PJ,
Mhm.
really good DJ. So he'll be opening up, and then yeah, I'll be taking it on home.
Well, I hope you have the best time ever.
Much.
Is there anything else that you want to say about this album, the things that you're working on, the place that you're at in life? Any big final thoughts for folks? Metaphysical.
I think we did a really good job covering everything. But I just want to say that I had a really nice time catching up with you. It's been a long time.
I know. I'm so
It's
glad
such
that you
a
came
long
on.
way coming up in music, and so it's awesome to see, others that are doing what they've wanted to do for so long. So it's such a pleasure.
I
So thank you so
know.
much.
It always is. And I hope that we get a chance to talk again very soon. I hope that, it's just the beginning.
It's just the beginning.
I can't
I'll
wait
be
to
good
catch you
time.
live. Are you coming to play Miami anytime soon? I know you're going to come to Gainesville.
I played Miami not too long ago, so I don't know the next time I'll be in Miami, but hoping soon because I love playing in Miami.
Yeah.
So much fun.
Well, next time you come, I certainly won't miss it. I don't know where I was that time, but I would love to come see
It
you.
was probably like crazy town.
On the way out, we're going to listen to Holding On with Nathan Nicholson.
Beautiful.
Oh, such a good one. Any parting words about Holding On?
Nope, it's a beautiful song. Thank you so much. Well, I love it. So I'm happy
I liked to see your reaction. I'm sure you love everything on the album, low key
they're all my
though.
little babies.
It's so good. Thank you so much for coming. I'm so proud of you, and thank you for sharing your inspiring story. I truly love that you are the type of person who just goes for it, and I love even more that going for it has worked for you. And I can't wait to see what you go for next.
Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to it as well.
I'll see you next time. Bye. Yay. We did it! And I actually sounded like I knew what I was talking about. Jesse, so great to see you in the chat. Jordan Strike, Kura Skates, Tristan Combe, thank you for coming all the way from New York City. Joey Headset, I love the puns as always. That is my favorite Kraftwerk album as well. John Marco, love you. I hope the job isn't too soul crushing. Zone Wolf, shout them all out. Sydney Pooch out there, if you're listening, we love you. We are going to listen to Holding On with Nathan Nicholson on the way out. If you haven't listened to Enter, listen to Enter. I listened to it like 6 times today. It's so fucking good. It's so well done. So awesome to hear that his inspirations were... I know you were excited to hear Orbital, Jordan Strike, and the Chemical Brothers. I like how he names those artists, and you know, they all have very strong, unique sounds of their own. And you listen to Durante's album, and he has such a unique sound. And so I think that just goes to show you that, you know, you're it's not about necessarily pulling those references so directly and so on the nose, but it's like a feeling and an EQ, as he was saying. I'm no production whiz. I don't really know what's going on behind the curtain, but I know it fucking sounds good, and I know that Holding On by Durante and Nathan Nicholson sounds very fucking good. Thank you so much for coming. I will drop links to the newsletter and to YouTube for those of you on Twitch, and to, you know, what's the other fucking one? to the Discord. Hello. I will drop links to the Discord, the newsletter, and the YouTube in the chat as soon as I am off screen. Make sure that you stay tuned to Cat Scrawls. That's the newsletter. On tomorrow, I'm going to have Cat Drawls, the podcast, exclusive to paying customers of Cat Scrawls, uploading an archival interview I have with Xavier, however you fucking say it. X is, I think, what people call him. X from 2017 or 2018, talking about the Women Worldwide tour. And then on Monday, I will have my newsletter about my time at Coachella, which was rad and also exhausting. So on that note, I'm going to go. I love you all. Thank you so much for tuning in. And if you're watching this later on YouTube, come by for the next one. We will have a Cat Calls in at least 2 weeks, but I'm still finalizing it, so I'm not going to tell you who the guest is. So you're just going to... Love you. It's a good song.